We're going to talk about NXT in a second, but guys, I joked about it last week. I joked about it in my preview for Battleground. SmackDown has fallen from grace, to say the least. SmackDown has reached Raw levels of bad, and when Raw got bad, I dropped it. After Battleground and after the bullshit SmackDown that we got last night after Battleground, it's going the way of Raw. I dropped Raw earlier this year. I'm dropping SmackDown as of now. For the rest of it, as far as this channel goes, NXT, obviously, I'm still going to do. I'm still having a lot of fun with NXT. I'm going to be warming up for the Mae Young Classic, which looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Still going to be doing tackles. Still going to be doing Ask the Phoenix. I really need you guys to toss some questions on for this month's Q&A, because it's looking a little bit light. Nothing else really is going to change very much. I'm still going to get together with Guapo and Kristen, and we're still going to preview Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views and make fun of them for the most part. But yeah. This is just a little programming note more than anything else. I'm going to continue to not be doing Raw. You guys saw that I dropped Raw, and then I tried to give it a second chance when I did that Raw 3-count gimmick that I tried to get up off the ground that sucked because I couldn't find anything good to talk about. But I can't be overly biased, which I am most of the time, and you guys know I was Team Blue. You know, SmackDown's obviously better than Raw, but it pretty much sucks. Great Khali killed it for me, I'm not gonna lie. The Punjabi Prison killed it for me. The flag match and the bullshit, and I'm a fan of Chris Jericho, but like, they brought back Chris Jericho for what? It's just bad. And they're giving away, I hate to sound like somebody else I could mention here on YouTube, but why are they wasting a WrestleMania-worthy main event next week on SmackDown? That should tell you where their head is at. So what I'm really doing here is I'm rambling to tell you that the only review you're going to get from me weekly is the NXT review. I don't know when I'm going to fit the Mae Young Classic stuff in, but I'm going to do it whenever it drops. It's dropping like a Netflix thing, and you guys know how I feel about that, but it's still going to be fun. I'm still going to review it. I'm still going to talk to you guys about that, because it does look like it's going to be good. As I say, Tackle and the Q&As are not going anywhere. You guys know that. But yeah, I wrote it out. I was super stubborn. I'm like, I'm going to stick with SmackDown, but fuck it. Let's talk about NXT. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your NXT July 26th review. Sorry for that long ramble at the beginning there, just had to get that off my chest. Yeah, don't expect Raw or SmackDown reviews on this channel for quite a while, but I will still get the house cleaning out of the way first. Go up to that annotation up there. You got 1 or 2 more days left if you want to get questions in for this month's version of Ask the Phoenix. Also, thank you to everybody that joined us for the tackle for Battleground and joined us for the pay-per-view Pick 'em. Let's be real, Battleground sucked balls, but you guys came out. We get more and more people for the pay-per-view Pick 'em every single time, which is a lot of fun. I'm really glad that you guys are having a lot of fun with that and choosing to join in on that, especially. And we're back. Gotta love technical difficulties. I was in the middle of thanking you guys for joining me for the pay-per-view Pick 'em, so here are the scores for Battleground, and everybody here is more of a winner than anybody that participated in Battleground. Oh yes, Julian Barros, who's been promoting this page all over the place, thank you very much, came in at 8. Salvador Salcido, who does all the graphics for this channel, came in at 14. Straight Edge Shooter number 2 came in at 16. Myself, Black Cat Feline, and the beautiful Spyra Andover all tied at 17. strifenineteen came in at 18. Melvin Michaels and Victor Abbott came in at 19 apiece. Fortune 4 Shooters and Mizark 10 came in at 20 apiece. Matt Donnelly at 21. Cheney 815 at 22. And for the second time with 29 fucking points, we had Guapo. Now I gotta send a shout out to Guapo. Twice on that night, everybody else voted for somebody else, and he was the one that got it. It was Sami Zayn, and it was Natalya fucking Neidhart, because that made sense. But congrats to Guapo, 2-time winner. of the pay-per-view pick 'em along with Cheney 815, although Cheney 815 did it back-to-back, man, so you still got to compete with him. But no, as I say, I love that you guys are enjoying that so much. I thought I would throw it out there as an idea one time. We might get 1 or 2 people playing and that would be it. But it grows every pay-per-view, and that's fucking amazing. And it makes Raw and SmackDown shit kind of worth talking about, or at least joking about. And it gives us something else fun to do, more to interact with you guys. So that's really a lot of fun. But let's talk about NXT. NXT started off tonight. I gotta say, last week, great week of in-ring action. This week, great week of building towards TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Ember Moon versus Lady Tapa, which was surprising. I hadn't heard any of this. I haven't read any of the spoilers from this week, this set of tapings, but I remember seeing Lady Tapa in it's not TNA anymore. What the hell is it called? GFW. Because those guys are popular these days, and thinking like, okay, they haven't exactly used her for much, but she is kind of a tank. They could use her for something if they wanted to. Yeah, they really didn't here. She kind of, she was another body in the ring for Ember Moon. She comes out, though, with a lariat and a mudhole stomp and a standing headbutt, you know, typical, what they would typically give a Samoan character. But a quick boot by Moon, a tornado vertical suplex and a bicycle kick followed by the Eclipse. Lady Tapa, for a much bigger person, sold the Eclipse like she was punch drunk, which was fucking great. Quick win for Ember Moon. Really, it was a reason to get her out to the ring so that she could call out Asuka. She talks about Asuka wanting somebody worthy, talking about Asuka wanting some competition. She says, I'll give you all the competition you desire. We've done it before. Let's do it again. I'm ready to defeat her, but is she ready for me? So the final call out for the match that we've telegraphed for months and months and months. Not, and I'm going to say this again later on, not that I don't think this is going to be a good match, but we knew it was coming. It isn't surprising in the slightest. It's not like she made the call out tonight. Like, oh, look at that. We've been waiting for it to happen. We've seen other stars like Sonya Deville, Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross, Aaliyah, etc. Basically all go out there and do cool shit, but we've all known why are we getting invested in this when we know Ember Moon's going to be the next challenger. Now, I don't think Ember Moon should win, and we're going to get into that at a later date, but we know this is happening, let's be real. We see a video package for Alastair Black. Now, I love the video packaging done by WWE, and you guys know I really love what Alastair Black's been doing in the WWE. Huge guy, moves around more than he should be able to for a huge guy. He's got that great entrance, and he's doing a lot of good. I hope he's on TakeOver in a prominent role, but they did 3 video packages for this guy tonight. That's a little bit of overkill in a 55-minute show. I don't think somebody else once used the expression to me, and I think it's funny, and I think it's kind of appropriate here. You can have a great thing. It's like birthday cake. And with Alastair Black, they gave us a little too much birthday this week. If that makes sense. Next up, we got Authors of Pain against 2 big jobbers, but thankfully, I don't have to talk about them taking on 2 big jobbers because the match never happens. Asuka blocks them in the ramp as they're coming down to the ring. They kind of stop. They give her the what the fuck look. And Wolf and Dane head to the ring, and they beat up the jobbers, which is great. The 2 teams brawl. Finally, they go face to face. Nikki Cross going absolutely insane on the outside is always great. Authors of Pain eventually get the upper hand and toss out SAnitY, which sucks. Because Authors of Pain don't need to look strong. They've destroyed everybody. To have SAnitY get the one-up on them with the surprise attack wouldn't have hurt them at all. But Authors of Pain get the upper hand and the crowd does not like that at all. SAnitY, although I'm sure they're supposed to be a heel gimmick, it's kind of like the Wyatts. They're a fun gimmick as well. So people are not going to boo them, especially against the Authors of Pain, which is a tag team of like the Big Show times 2. Not to say that they're not great for guys of that size, but their manager is more well-known than they are, and that really doesn't help. And they just squashed one of NXT's favorite teams enough that they broke up. So anybody that faces them right now is going to be babyfaced by default. Now, I know there's a lot of really smart podcasters out there that are going to complain about this because it's heel versus heel, but when the audience loves SAnitY this much, it's really not. Is it? Oh, no, no. We see another video package for the Street Profits. And then we see No Way Jose in the parking lot arguing with Andrade Cias's girlfriend. And nobody seems... sorry, Andrade Cien Almas's girlfriend. And nobody proceeds to care. And then Velveteen Dream comes out for a match. And fuck the Velveteen Dream and fuck his post-match interview. Oh, yes. William Regal shocks us all by announcing that Asuka will take on Ember Moon at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Drew McIntyre then comes out to address his #1 contendership status after beating Killian Dane in the match they had last week. Really, really good match. I actually went back and watched that match again before this week's episode of NXT. It's a really fucking good match. I'm just saying. He thanks everybody for following him along this big long journey that he's been on, all the people that have followed him through the various companies, etc. For anybody that's new, you better catch up. TakeOver's only 4 weeks away. I don't really have a backup button, but I do want to thank everybody that has supported me in the past. Rah, rah, rah. In my first run in the WWE, they called me the chosen one, and it led me to feel very entitled. But when I left, I found out that building up myself was my own responsibility. When I went to other places, I started to work hard. I took responsibility for myself, and the companies I was in grew with me, which is really funny because he actually... When I was still watching TNA, when Drew Galloway debuted in TNA, and he was doing that whole, like, he's going to save pro wrestling gimmick, and he was always out there with the fans, and he was always getting everybody really riled up, and it was really good, and it really feels like that gimmick that he was trying to create in TNA, he brought that with him to NXT, and that's good. I really like that. But for him to say that companies grew with him, the last big company that he came from is in the toilet, and it's a punchline. TNA is a punchline. GFW is a punchline. Anything run by Dixie Carter or Anthem or Jeff Jarrett specifically is a punchline, especially to somebody like Rebby Hardy, who I absolutely love. Go follow that chick on Twitter. But I agree with everything he said up to the point where he says all the companies grew with me, because they're not very, very grown. But then he turns it around and he said, this is why I signed with NXT. In NXT, we all walk side by side except Bobby Roode. Now I see the entitlement in Bobby Roode that I once saw in myself. Somebody needs to tell Bobby Roode that it's not his NXT. And then he starts getting ramped up like he did with his gimmick in TNA, which I think is fantastic. He said, it's that guy's NXT, and it's that kid's NXT, and it's that woman's NXT. And then he gets everybody to stand, and you know you've got the crowd in the palm of your hand when you say jump and they say how high. But when you say everybody stand up with me, everybody stand up at home, you know, the whole Dusty Rhodes, you touch my hand, I'll touch your hand type of thing. But he says, you know, you are not NXT, and then, you know, the NXT slogan type of thing is we are NXT, and the crowd does it with him, and it's fucking wonderful. And he's reaching out to the crowd, and the crowd is reaching back, and that's why the gimmick works. Also, NXT can fill a friggin' sportsplex, and TNA just can't. They paid people to go to their shows in India just so that they wouldn't have an empty crowd. What does that say about anything, really? I know I'm rambling quite a bit, and I probably sound like shit. Once again, I have no voice. I apologize for that. Gargano is returning next week against some guy that cut a promo in the back that I didn't care about because he's going to lose. There's one instance where that guy in the back, whose name I can't remember, and I didn't write down, there's something Ruiz or whatever, he tried to say, oh, it's not about Gargano next week, it's about me. It's about as generic as you can get. There's only one situation where I see that guy winning next week, and we're going to get into that momentarily after we talk about Cassius Ohno versus Hideo Itami. I've said for a lot of time now, I like Hideo Itami. I like that this time, it looks like after many failed attempts and after many injuries and stalls in his momentum, it looks like he's really making himself into a prominent star this time around. They finally let him use the GTS. I'm pretty sure that helps a lot. I just don't care about this on-again, off-again thing he has going on with Cassius Ohno, because I don't care about Cassius Ohno. I don't have anything against the guy, I really don't, but I don't have anything for him either as a fan. But collar and elbow tie-up and an armbar and a wrist lock by Ohno. Trip by Itami, a right hand, a forearm, and some chops by Ohno. Facebuster and a low drop kick by Ohno, some chops and a boot. Kicks to the chest, guillotine leg drop by Itami. Daniel Bryan silly kicks, #1 by Itami, followed by a neckbreaker. Chinlock with a post to the back by Itami, follows it by knees to the back and a boot. Daniel Bryan silly kicks, Chapter 2 from Itami. Tornado Hangman and some chops by Ohno. Rolling clotheslines by Ohno, a boot and a running senton. Snake Eyes, Fisherman suplex by Itami. Hesitation dropkick by Itami. Boot by Ohno. Itami says fuck it. Low blow by Itami. Ohno wins by disqualification. I'm sorry, but it really feels like all Ohno does is boot and run into people, because he's big, and that's what big people do. There's a post-match beatdown by Itami, and then a GTS. And then the crowd chants one more time. And there's another GTS. And then he goes halfway up the ramp, and he stops and he comes back. I'm like, okay, if he's going to hit a trifecta, third GTS, that'd be cool. Even better, pulls him out of the ring, GTS on the fucking steel steps. Oh no, go fuck yourself. Now, I haven't read the spoilers. Not going to read the spoilers. What I want to happen next week. You got Johnny Gargano coming back. You guys know I want Johnny Gargano versus Hideo Itami at TakeOver Brooklyn. It's probably not going to happen because they have no reason to cross paths whatsoever. Unless Itami just decides, fuck you, I'm going to destroy your return. He goes out, he costs Gargano the match, some way, somehow, some form. This Ruiz guy, or whatever the fuck he is, with his super generic promo that I can't really remember, he gets to go and tout about his victory and whatnot. And going forward, you've got Itami versus Gargano until Ciampa comes back, and then Ciampa can cost Gargano the match against Itami, and everybody wins. We'll get some great matches out of the deal. We get Ono off my fucking TV. The Ruiz guy can go fight jobbers at NXT house shows. Speaking of which, I'm going to be at the NXT house show in September in Toronto at the Matinee Center, if anybody's going to be there. I'm going to be at the Raw and the SmackDown August 7th and 8th, I think, if anybody is going to be in Toronto for any of those shows, and for some reason or another wants to say hello to me, slide me a direct message on Twitter or somewhere down here, and that'll be that. Looking forward to those. I mean, as much as I just finished shitting on Raw and SmackDown, I'm not really going to talk about them on this channel anymore. You can't beat a live wrestling show. So everything's biased. Everything's a little rose-colored glasses when you're at a live show. It's one of those, if it's good, it's really good. And if it's bad, you can have fun laughing at it and have a couple of drinks. And I have the week off. So I'm going to go to Raw, I'm going to go to SmackDown, and I'm going to fucking sleep the rest of the week. It's going to be fucking good. But like I say, we've got the title match set for TakeOver Brooklyn. We now have the women's title match that we've known has been happening forever, officially announced tonight. We're pretty sure we're getting Authors of Pain versus SAnitY. I don't know where that leaves Eric Young. Eric Young not being on the card is unacceptable. I also wouldn't, if they're not going to give me Gargano versus Itami, Gargano versus Young wouldn't hurt my feelings either. Nikki Cross needs to be on the card in some way, shape, or form. Other people, like Alastair Black, need to be on the card. We need to find out where they're going to be on the card as well. Alastair Black versus Hideo Itami would be pretty fucking good. I know we're going to see Danny Burch versus Oney Lorcan at some point. Throw that on the pay-per-view. I could really do without Velveteen Dream and No Way Jose and Andrade Cien Almas and his new bitch. I really, really could. I don't know what else to say. I'm really having a lot of fun with NXT, and I will tell you this much, not reviewing Raw, not reviewing SmackDown, pissing off a lot of people on Twitter, because it's what I do. It's a much more relaxing week knowing that I don't have to talk about all the shit. I'm not going to lie. This is the first week in a long time that I've intentionally not reviewed SmackDown, and I haven't reviewed Raw in forever. And so just get on Twitter and like troll some people and say, you know, this show is shit, go ahead and prove me otherwise, when they can't and they get angry, and it's what they do. It's like Naomi fans just saying, ugh. Much as it pains me to admit, Raw's matches for SummerSlam are blowing SmackDown's matches out of the water so far. Just look at the two women's title matches, Bayley and Alexa Bliss versus Natalya, for reasons, versus Harambe's love child with Mr. Ed wrapped in Christmas lights. Oh yes! But this has been your SmackDown review, and I, of course, have been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak.